One of my favorite quotes is that in order to perfect something, you have to make it a habit first. And that makes so much sense to me. I think that fashion and self-improvement are moving targets. We're always kind of evolving and growing as people. And during that growth, our personal style or ideals can change, our body types change, even our lifestyles change. So things that previously worked for you as outfits may not work for you anymore. And that's perfectly okay. And it's actually a nice thing to sort of take into consideration when you're taking inventory of your clothes. So if there are things that speak to the old you and not the new you, it's okay to put those into a pile for donation or consignment, and then add things that do speak to you. And that way your wardrobe is evolving with you as a person, and you're not stuck in things that are representing the old you or making you not feel your best. Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Tasha and I'm an LA-based fashion stylist. Today's video is going to be part of a two-part series that I'm filming for you guys. I thought about making it one video, but then I thought people will be like, too long, didn't watch. So this is going to be part one of the two-part video series that I'm going to film for you guys. So the reason that I wanted to film this video for you guys is that a lot of people have New Year's resolutions to dress better, look better, better their overall appearance, however you want to put it. I want to start out by saying that there is nothing wrong or vain in regard to wanting to improve one's appearance. We are always evolving, and I think it's perfectly okay to want to strive to do better. And personal appearance, while sometimes people can take it on the surface as something that is vain or self-absorbed, it goes so much deeper than that. That's one of the reasons that I do what I do. I think on the surface, people could look at it and say, oh, it's just narcissism or vanity. And it really isn't, because if you've ever gotten dressed in a rush and left your house and you're wearing something you just threw on to kind of leave the house, and as the day wears on, you're like, oh, I don't really look my best, I don't feel my best. And it may even be subconscious that you're kind of wanting to fade into the background, you're not having the best interactions with other people because you're just not overall feeling that great. So I think that personal appearance directly ties into how we feel about ourselves, self-confidence, self-worth, and that plays a big part in how we interact in the world and how we show up for ourselves. And if you're feeling confident, you're feeling happy, you're also at peace. That's another thing that I want to talk about as far as getting organized and making it easy to get dressed quickly and leave your house, especially in the morning. I do not fancy having like a stressful or off-putting situation really early in the morning. It just kind of ruins my whole day. And so if we can tackle that, and that way we are happy, we're at peace, we feel good about ourselves, we're showing up in the world, valuing ourselves and feeling happy, I think that makes such a huge difference. So for today's video, step one of the two-part series, we're going to work on getting organized, taking stock, and I'm going to talk you through all of the steps that you're going to need before we move on to step two, or video number two, which is going to be pulling base outfits and then building your personal style on top of your base wardrobe. I don't know about you, but if something's not easy or accessible, I kind of tend to avoid it. So our first step is going to be getting organized and simplifying all of the things that we have so that when we do go into our closet to get dressed, it's a lot easier and a lot less daunting than just having this big, sort of thing of clothes and you're like, I don't know where to look, I don't know where the piece I want to wear is. All of that can be really frustrating. So in order to simplify that and make it easy, we need to start out by sort of taking inventory of what we have. And as you're doing this, you're going to want to sort things into piles, or if you're using a clothing rack, separate things into a system that works for you. Typically, I guide my clients toward organizing in the way of pieces they wear most frequently. So it's comfortable, you like it, it looks good on you, the pieces that you kind of reach for every day. But as you get deeper and deeper into your closet, you might come across some pieces that you haven't worn in a while, and that can be kind of fun because you're like, oh hey, I forgot I had this really great piece. And once you've got everything out and separated, you're going to want to take sort of a deeper dive into these piles. Is there anything that needs to be cleaned? Perhaps it needs to be repaired, it's missing a button, has a hole in it, something like that. So you kind of shoved it to the side and stopped wearing it, but it's a piece that you really like. So you can separate a pile for things that need to be cleaned, repaired. And the next two piles will be things that need to be altered. So similar to things that need to be repaired, perhaps there's a reason you're not wearing this piece. Maybe it needs to be altered in some way. So that's an additional pile. As you're going through your things, you may come across some things that need to be replaced. Perhaps they're worn out, not looking their best, and they're beyond being altered or repaired. That's something you can add to a list. And the next time that you're doing some shopping, you can replace it, and that way there aren't any holes in your wardrobe. The next step is to fill in any holes in your wardrobe. Doesn't seem right to talk about holes in wardrobes, but that's not what I mean. So if you've gone through your things and you find that there is a major piece or a couple of major pieces missing in order to make your other things wearable, that's what I mean by filling in holes in your wardrobe. So you can add that to your list with the things that need to be replaced, and next time you're either online shopping or out shopping, you can pick those things up. So filling in a gap, that sounds better than hole. So filling in a gap in your wardrobe isn't something I encourage my clients to do frequently all the time, because then we're going to be shopping and buying mates for pieces all the time to make them wearable, and that's not really a functional wardrobe. So if you're finding that there are a ton of pieces in your closet that would be so much more wearable for you if you only had a navy blazer, for example, that's the way that I want people to think of filling in gaps in their wardrobe. I don't want them to be in the habit of always needing to buy something to go with something else, because that can lead to kind of a mishmash wardrobe, and then just rampant consumerism is something that I really try to not guide my clients toward. But if there is a piece or a couple of pieces that would really fill in a couple of gaps in your wardrobe to make a lot of items more wearable, then that's something that you want to add to your list as well. This next step might be something that you haven't thought of, but it makes a really huge difference when it comes to your overall appearance of an outfit, and it is your underwear. So sorry, we're going to get a little bit personal for a moment, but one of the things that you're going to want to do is also take stock of your undergarments, because if they're not in good order, or if perhaps they don't fit correctly, that can cause so many underlying issues when it comes to how your outfit comes together as a whole. So if you have a bra that is pinching or bulging, that's going to be something that kind of distracts from your overall outfit. And not to mention, if it's just not comfortable and you kind of don't want to wear it, maybe it's time to replace it. Same idea with your underwear. If it isn't fitting you correctly and perhaps it's digging in, causing the appearance of a bulge that wouldn't be there otherwise, or if it's just worn out, it gets scrunchy bunchy under your clothes. So even though underwear isn't outerwear, it is something that we want to take stock of as well. Maybe do a try on and weed out the pieces that no longer work for us. Anything that's worn out, digging in, bulging, or it's just uncomfortable and you hate it, it's probably time to replace that as well. So if your undergarments aren't the right color, fit, or fabric, then they could be unintentionally betraying you when it comes to getting dressed. So I'm not talking about my underwear is showing on purpose, which can be a style of dress. For example, a button-down shirt with like a frilly bra that's poking out on purpose. I'm talking about the day-to-day underwear that you do not want to have showing. And when I say underwear, I mean bras as well. So bra straps that slip, or if they are the wrong fabric, they can look lumpy. So like I said, a lace bra can be really frilly and cute and pretty if you want to have it peeking out on purpose. But for day-to-day, if you're wearing a lace bra and you're not trying to dress up in a way that is showcasing that, it can look lumpy and a little bit weird, especially under t-shirts. So it's unfortunately a little bit boring, but nude and smooth fabric underwear and bras are usually the easiest way to go for everyday dressing. So that way it isn't going to appear bunchy, or if we're talking about panties on your lower half, they're not causing any sort of distraction, or even sometimes with lighter fabrics, as far as your pants, skirt, whatever you're wearing on the bottom, if you're wearing a certain pair of underwear that is too dark or perhaps has a pattern, that's certainly going to be visible through your clothes. And if you've ever been out and about and just stood behind somebody in Starbucks and you're like, oh dear Lord, I can totally see your underwear, that's not a vibe. It's distracting and it takes away from your overall appearance. It doesn't look polished, it doesn't look put together. And to just take such a simple step on improving something, I think that's a really easy tip that sometimes people don't think about. So make sure that you're getting functional everyday underwear, especially when it comes to the color, fit, and fabric. That way it's not unintentionally betraying your overall look. So for this next step, I find that it's easiest to make it part of your weekly refresh routines. So most people do that on a Sunday, but whenever you're doing it, this is when you're going to want to get yourself organized and set up for the upcoming events during your week. So the way that I like to do this is go through my calendar. That way I have in front of me everything that I have going on that week. So when I'm doing my weekly reset, I can pull an outfit for each of those days and events that I have on my agenda. And I also like to pull the weather. So you don't want to be caught out in something where you're too hot, too cold, it's raining. Having an idea of what the weather is going to be like and what you're doing that day makes picking an outfit so much easier. Plus, it can be really helpful in avoiding unexpected things. For example, you don't go to the office feeling, less than your best, and it's a day that all the executives from the home office are visiting and you're like, oh, I forgot this was happening. So I think it's helpful in that aspect as well, and that way you're not really caught out or off guard, not feeling or looking your best. And as you're pulling each piece and setting up your outfits for the week, you can make sure that everything is ironed, steamed, it's been dry cleaned, it's not missing a button, all of those little things that can really catch you out if you get dressed quickly and leave the house and then you get to your office or wherever you're at and you're like, oh cool, I have a hole in my sweater. So it really helps to avoid those little things as well. Those little details go such a long way in having a well-maintained appearance. So that's it for part 1 of this 2-video series. I hope you'll join me next week for the second video in this 2-part series. In that video, we're going to start out with the basics by pulling a base wardrobe or daily outfit, and we're going to talk about how to build on each of those base wardrobes and further hone in on our personal style and really personalize those outfits to our own taste and sort of elevate them into our own unique style. So all of that will be coming up in next week's video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you then.